Oh, we are back with another live. Claudia and I have been talking about how many of our friends are saying, "Oh my God, I'm so excited to have this week off of work, but I'm also kind of not looking forward to it at all because holidays suck." And that is not how we want to feel. We want to be able to enjoy our holidays. So today we are going to be talking about how to thrive and instead of just survive the holidays. I know it sounds super corny, but there basically are two reasons we get really stressed during the holidays. One side of it is the workload, right? And the other side of it is humans and emotions. And so I'm going to give you 3 quick tips for each one of those that will help you with this holiday season. So if you don't know me, my name is Shayla King, and I am an executive life coach. And I spent over a decade while I was climbing the corporate ladder, studying what makes some people more successful than others, what makes some people happier than others, and how in the heck can you manage work-life balance through it all. So I have 2 special guests with me today. So we've got Ari, my daughter. She's very excited to talk to you guys today. I kind of asked her 10 minutes ago if she wanted to join me because her and I really do have conversations around this stuff. And some of her friends' moms have been talking to me about it as well. And as always, we have the beautiful and talented Claudia Santana with us today.
Hi, everyone.
All right. So if you have any specific questions, you can drop them. Claudia will give them to me, but let's jump right in. So I'm going to give you 3 tools for your toolbox on the emotional side. So the first thing is gamification. So I want you to turn what used to stress you out into a game. So let's say that you have that Aunt Carol or grandma who always says something that triggers you. So she's talking about your weight or your parenting or whatever, your job, whatever it is that drives you crazy or just seems to be inappropriate in general, not just to you, but to others. So instead of letting it grind your gears and get under your skin this year, I want you to turn it into a game. So every time Aunt Carol does it, I want you to wink at your partner. I want you to have a code word for it. I want you to take a sip, find some way to turn it into a game. So then when it happens, it's like funny and humorous instead of, oh my God, there she goes again. I knew we couldn't get through another holiday without, grandma talking about politics, right? So step number 1, turn it into a game. Another option that you have for those times is to move the expectation box in your head. Okay. So we all have friends that let us down. And basically, from a neuroscience perspective, our brain loves congruency. When what we expect to happen is what actually happens, right? And so sometimes, even though people have shown us how they behave, we still want them to behave in a different way that we expect our friends to behave. So an example of this is I had a girlfriend who was always late. All the time. She was always at least 30 minutes late. But every time I'd expect her to show up on time because that's what friends do. Friends show up on time. So every time I'd be annoyed by, here she goes again. She's late. Oh my gosh. Until I finally moved the box in my head. She was no longer the regular friend that I expected to show up on time. Instead, she was the late friend. It no longer frustrated me. I expected that. I started lying to her about when things started so that she'd be on a little closer to time. And it became something we just laughed about instead of something that actually frustrated me. Sense? So that's number 2, move the expectation box. You got anything you want to add so far?
Friend.
What?
Friend.
What do you mean?
Well, she's always late. It's not good.
Oh.
I don't know how I can make this in simpler terms.
Okay. I don't know how to talk in your language. Okay. So number 3, think about what your triggers are and how you normally feel, and practice intentional thought creation. So what this one means, this is something I work on with a lot of my clients. It's when there's a situation going on and you say, every time my mom or my mother-in-law talks to me about how I parent my kids, it is really gets under my skin. And so if you slow down and to say, what is it that she typically says or he typically says? How does it actually make me feel? So when you discover what those feelings are, like it makes me feel insecure, or it makes me feel like I'm being judged and depressed, and anxious, whatever those feelings are, the first thing we want to do is name them so we know what we're walking into and we know when they say certain things, how it makes us feel. Once we know that, it's easier to interrupt those thoughts and have different ones instead. So then instead of feeling insecure the next time they say it, we can replace our thought in our head with a different one. So this time I could say, I love that my husband supports my parenting decisions, instead of I care what this person thinks about my parenting decisions, right? Or I love that my children and I are so connected, right? I love that we found a new way of parenting that works for us. So you can replace those thoughts, but it helps when you know ahead of time, what exactly is it that they say that bothers me and why? And if you take the time to slow that down ahead of time and know it, then you can help yourself create new thoughts. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice, but even just knowing that it's coming can really take the edge off when you're there this holiday season. Okay, so those are 3 tips that you can use for the emotional side of it. Now let's jump into the busy side of it. Right? So often we are overwhelmed and we're like, we finally get some time off work, only for me to be busy every second of the day and to feel unappreciated because I have to do so much of the work. Well, guess what? You don't. You don't have to do more than you want to do. So our first step in this section is say no to any and everything that you don't want to do. Okay? So this means that you don't have to go to 3 different families' houses during the holidays. This means that you don't have to cook the full meal and host it for everybody. This means you don't have to cook from scratch and have the table set and have it fancy. Do whatever you want to do. So if there are some of these things like making pies from scratch is your thing and you love it, great, do that. But you don't have to do everything else, right? And it doesn't mean that you still set the bar that high and say, this is what a perfect holiday looks like, and I will do this. And instead of being taken advantage of and doing it all myself, I'm going to delegate it and make everybody else help. That can also cause issues because now we're pushing it onto other people. And what we want to do is set our boundaries and say, here's what I'm willing to do. And then if you want to do more, here's what you can do, but it's their choice. Then we don't resent them for not helping enough, for not helping the right way. As soon as we feel like we're being taken advantage of, that's always your clear sign that you're not setting good enough boundaries. Okay? So what this could look like practically is, hey, I'm going to have dinner around 6. I'm going to make a turkey and mashed potatoes. If you want to come, great. If you want to bring any other sides or have any other sides, great. But I'm going to do a turkey and mashed potatoes. Okay? All right. The second tip in the workload category is to make things easy.
Just make it look so easy.
She can take any sentence that I say in life and turn it into a Taylor Swift lyric.
That's not Taylor Swift.
So this one wasn't? Oh, that's your song for dance. Yeah. Or song for dance. That's what I thought you were doing though.
Well, you haven't really said anything.
Yeah, about Taylor? Okay.
Yeah.
So make things easy. Always ask yourself what's the easiest way to do it. And if that means that you're going to have it on paper plates, then do that. If that means you're going to have grocery delivery, then do that. If that means that you're going to say, forget Thanksgiving dinner at all, we're just going to have game night. So come over and play games. We'll still get the family time out of it. The most important thing to know is we are not going to stay constrained in this expectations that society gives us and say, I'm going to do it, damn it, and I'm going to get it right. I'm going to be unhappy the whole time. We're not going to enjoy ourselves as a family, but gosh darn it, I'm going to meet those expectations that somebody made up. Now, it's really important that you feel empowered to throw that all out the window and instead that you go into it and actually do what makes you happy and make it easy. Okay? And our third and final tip is to do things early. So you're going to prepare as much as you possibly can in advance. Your house can be cleaned days beforehand. You can set the table days beforehand. You can make pies days beforehand. Get groceries days beforehand. Don't set yourself up during crunch time to get it all done. So do things early so that way you have luxurious amounts of time. This is what I always practice with my clients, is giving them luxurious amounts of time for the things that matter most. because so often we're stressed with the last minute details and then we don't get to actually enjoy our family and friends that are around us during that moment. So say no to anything you don't want to do, make things easy, and do things early are your 3 tips for the time side of it. So with that, I wish you all a very, very, very happy holiday season. And we will see you on the next Ask Your HR Lady, where each time that we meet, we will either talk about how to improve your performance or how to improve your happiness. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.